Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a first impressions demo and review of the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. I received it in the mail yesterday. I posted it on Instagram's InstaSnap and I posted on Snapchat asking if people wanted a review, and I got a lot of response asking me to do a first impressions video. So yes, that's what the packaging looks like. It's already very pretty and it says the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation is full coverage, long wear, matte finish, waterproof and oil free. So it sounds great. So Urban Decay say that it's the ultimate foundation for a flawless looking complexion. This waterproof formula provides complete coverage that lasts all day or all night with a modern matte finish that never looks overdone. Achieve a blown out effect you never thought possible for skin that looks amazing and stays that way. Perfect for all night affairs and other scandalous activities, this revolutionary formula is also comfortable enough to wear every day. We loaded this full coverage foundation with such an insane amount of pigment that a little goes a long way, and there's no need to build your coverage or apply multiple layers. Light diffusing pigments blur flaws for beautifully perfected skin, while high-tech ingredients mattify and absorb oil to reduce the appearance of shine. Choose from a wide range of meticulously calibrated shades. Sounds pretty promising. I believe there are 24 shades of this foundation, which is great. One of the things I have a problem with foundations is sometimes they have like 6 shades, which is problematic because often on my end of the scale, the really sort of the paler side, I can't find a shade that is, you know, suitable for me. Also, I feel like darker skins, they're not catered for either, and that's just not fair. Why should the medium range be catered for but not the really light and the dark and really dark? So that's one thing I've always loved about Urban Decay. One of my favourite foundations ever is the Urban Decay Naked Skin. So I'm very interested to try this out, see how it matches up to it, see if it's better, and if it's better then this will replace Urban Decay Naked Skin. I am currently not using Urban Decay Naked Skin because I've been looking for a foundation to replace it. I haven't found one yet. Maybe this will be it. I have nothing on my face at the minute except I've done my brows because I don't like to do my brows after my foundation. I've moisturised my skin and I've used a primer. My primer that I've used is the Flawless Original Primer from Barry M. The reason I use this is because this is the primer that I've just been using. I didn't want to open a new primer because I don't feel like that would be a fair test, because what if the primer doesn't work for my skin? What if I don't like the primer? Then it's kind of like, how do I know which is to blame? This is the bottle. My shade is 1.0, so I've just whipped my hair out of my face. My skin isn't like that bad at the minute. I've got these horrible like little constellation of spots, and when I get spots it's not too bad. Like I have, you know, maybe a couple, like I've got one here and you can't really tell because it's just like it's a spot, but these ones have like so much redness on them for some reason, so they stand out even more. So hopefully the foundation will like even that all out, and then I'll go in with a concealer and then just conceal them. That's what concealer does. So what I'm going to start off doing with my foundation is, because I'm not sure of how is best to apply it, I'm going to start out by using a sponge on this side, and then I'm going to start working it in with a brush, because the Urban Decay Naked Skin I used with my Real Techniques brush and that was the best way to use it. But I just wanted to kind of test it all out and see how it works. And then in some areas I might use my fingers just to see how well it applies to my fingers. And then I will hopefully have a gauge of how to apply it best, how it applies best for me. It says shake well. What I noticed already is that the Urban Decay Naked Skin, it has a roller ball in it, so it helps to like mix the liquid up. And the Naked Skin is a lot more thinner. It does have a really nice like medium coverage, but it is slightly more buildable. This one says you don't need to build it up. So already that's like a thicker formula. The other one kind of runs a little bit more. Oh yeah. Immediately I can tell that that's much more full coverage, and just the other one moves so easily. It looks like a pretty good match. You might not be able to tell on camera, but I'm looking in the mirror and the natural daylight is hitting it and it's just blending really nicely into my neck. I am shade 1.0 in Urban Decay Naked Skin, so I figured I'd be the same so far so good. I am going to apply it with a Real Techniques brush. just on the cheeks, see how it applies, and then if it doesn't apply that well, I'll just go over it with my sponge. So I'm just going to do my whole face quickly, alternating between these two, and then I'll get back to you with how it looks and how I feel that these methods apply. Right, so I've worked it into the skin. I found that my Miracle Sponge by Real Techniques worked a lot better than the brush. The brush was just, it's a little bit stiffer and it's a little bit harder to work with it. You've got to work with it a lot more, and I felt that, you know, sometimes it was like almost pulling, and I was worried that I'd be rubbing the foundation off rather than putting it onto my skin. I don't think I'd really apply it with this brush, which is definitely very interesting, seeing as this was my favourite brush, my favourite method of applying Urban Decay's Naked Skin. But you might find it works better for you, especially if you have oilier skin. My skin is dry. I have moisturised, but I definitely feel that without a moisturiser I would probably not get on as well with this foundation. I definitely have to work it more, and I don't think it would look as good. I'll normally apply my concealer under my eyes with my fingers, and that worked. The foundation is not a concealer, but it does have quite nice coverage, and it does help to already kind of even out that area and make it a little bit brighter and a little bit less, you know, dark and shadowy. So it is good, but I wouldn't recommend that you just whack it on as a concealer and go, yeah. In a pinch, if you don't have much time, you could just put it on and great, you know, you look a little bit more awake, you look not as tired, and, you know, kind of great if you don't have time for a concealer. So yes, I do like this. I have to say, so far I'm not as like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, like I was with Urban Decay Naked Skin. I just fell in love with that. Like, that's just my absolute number one. This is pretty similar in the shade range, except it is a little bit more light. I like the fact that it's matte. Definitely give it that. It's completely matte. I don't look dry. There is a bit of luminosity, but it's not like Naked Skin. It's just so kind of dewy and glowy, and that's why I understand that a lot of people with like oilier skins can't get on with it. But if you've got oily skin, I think this is going to be really good for you. If you have drier skin, drier than my skin, extremely dry skin, I would say don't use this. Or if you do, get a sample of it or something, try it out. Moisturize definitely. But yeah, I like this. It's kind of weird because I feel like this matches my skin tone perfectly, and so I feel like I look really pale, but it's just because it matches my skin, and this doesn't really normally happen. But yeah, it's definitely nice, and I definitely like it. It's definitely done the job. Definitely am impressed. It's definitely matte finish, and it's definitely full coverage. That's what I can say for my first impressions now. I will go away, I'll wear this, I'll put the rest of my makeup on, I will go away, come back and show you what the results are. So I'm back, I've finished my makeup, and I'd say this foundation really works nicely, especially once you have your makeup on, once you're finished. I have only powdered underneath my eyes just because I put some concealer underneath my eyes, and I just wanted to make sure that kind of doesn't crease too much. I did notice when I was doing my makeup that when I put the foundation into the under eye area that it had settled into like my fine line, and by setting it with some translucent powder that will hopefully help to stop that, you know, being a thing. But we'll see. But everywhere else I have not powdered. I don't feel like I need it. I might discover that I do need it later, but you know, I'm just worried that by powdering it's gonna make me look even more dry. So I'm gonna go get on my day, and I will come back and finish the review. So see you soon. Right, so I'm back. It is 10 o'clock at night, and I applied this about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's been an interesting day actually, because I was like, I don't really get oily, so I don't need to powder it. I'm more worried about it, my skin being dry. And then I went out and it was so hot and so humid. It's good because it meant that I can test it against like sweat and like, you know, how it'd be in like a hotter climate, I guess. Because today was just tropical. It was like, am I even in England? It did hold up against that, but it has kind of left me looking a little bit shiny. In its defense, I didn't powder it, I didn't set it with a setting spray. Even Urban Decay Naked Skin I would definitely need to set and put some powder on if I knew that it was going to be that hot. None of my foundations would be able to cope with that if I hadn't prepared my face, if that makes sense. Around my nose you can see that it has separated a bit and it has kind of gone into my pores a bit. I have been touching this area, so if it's like rubbed off here, that's completely me. I'm ignoring this area because that's not fair. I've been touching this all day today. Out of boredom mostly, but yeah. I didn't apply any primer on my eyes. I just rubbed my foundation in, you know, on the back of my sponge just to even out the skin tone. And normally I would apply an eye primer. And today I was just like, no, I'm just gonna put this over. And I think it's worked better than my eye primer for keeping my eyeshadow in place and keeping it from creasing. I mean, it has creased a bit and it has worn off a bit, but like, I'm really shocked. There's normally like a big black line where it's creased and it hasn't. So yeah, that's interesting because I never expected that to work. Any foundation, if I put it on, I never put them on my eyelids because, and if I do, I have to like powder the shit out of them. But I don't know what I was thinking today. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna put it over. I'm gonna, you know, powder it. I'll set it with a, I always set it with like a nudie shade, a nude eyeshadow. That's just what I always do, and then put my eyeshadow on top, but normally that would crease if I didn't have anything on underneath. I think that's just because it's matte finish. If you have like normal to combination oilier skin, I definitely think this one's gonna be for you. I do like it though. I do love the shade range. No point in the day did I think, well, like orange or, you know, too pale or whatever. This just felt exactly right. The other foundation I was using before was about a 4 on my scale, so I would currently put this at 4.5 between Urban Decay Naked Skin and my previous foundation. It has stayed for, gosh, I can't even work out how many hours. A lot of hours. A whole day. That's definitely a working day and then beyond. If I was going to do an all-nighter, then I would definitely want to powder my face and set it, because when you're going out for stuff like that, you definitely wear eye primer as well, but I would do that with any of my foundations. So if you have been struggling with finding your shade, then I would definitely recommend checking out Urban Decay the Naked Skin or the All-Nighter foundation. Urban Decay Naked Skin is so good, and I would say if you're drier, then check that out. If you're oilier, this one's probably better for you. Try it out and let me know what you think. This foundation has also just felt really nice on my skin. It hasn't felt like heavy, or, you know, sometimes when you're wearing makeup you can just feel it. It didn't feel like that at all. Does it feel better than Naked Skin? No. I've come to the conclusion that Naked Skin is just the best foundation ever and nothing compares to it. This one is close, but the other one for me is just such a perfect match for my skin. It just makes my skin feel so good, but I think that's the kind of hydration like element of it. I think when you have dry skin, a matte foundation isn't going to work for you that well. You can moisturize and prep for it, but at the end of the day sometimes you just have to admit, okay, I need to have a hydrating foundation. It's not always the case, but I think that's the conclusion that I'm drawing from this. However, I do really like it. I love it and I'm going to continue using it. I would say if you're 1.0 in Urban Decay Naked Skin and you try this product out, 1.0 in this foundation might be a little bit lighter for you. It's definitely lighter than the Urban Decay Naked Skin, but not by like huge levels. So that's my first impressions, try out, demo, review. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you have any requests or comments or anything about this video, just leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I just hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope that this has been useful for you. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.